What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody out there? I am Kevin Bryant, and I am coming at you on New Music Day Spotlight from the Heat Seekers International. And I have a special guest that I can't wait to even talk to, Mr. Chester Gregory. How are you, sir?
I'm great, man. How are you? How are you?
Man, I'm good. It's been a minute since the pandemic and everything. I don't know where everybody is. I'm trying to find people. We was at the radio station. They're like, okay, y'all gotta do this from home. Like, what's going on? How are you through all
Oh,
this?
man, who would have ever thought we will be here? Like with all the news headlines, it's like, wait a minute, is this a skit? Is this a living color? Is this the onion? Like, what's going on? And it's like, but here we are, and in spite of all the other things that are happening on the flip side, like people are learning to connect in new ways. People are
Yep.
coming up with new ways to connect, to make money, to express themselves, to create art, and to really just face themselves and deal with their own healing. Right. In 2020, everybody was like, I'm gonna do this, all these things out here. And it was like, nope, here's a mirror.
There's a
You're gonna
mirror.
do
You
this,
don't
and
do
this.
this.
Right.
I know it's crazy because we're used to creating, so we're used to being in creating something and all of that. But then now you got to create, but then we don't have anywhere to like show our creation. We got to kind of
Right.
hold it in. So I think that's a different thing for everybody.
Yeah.
But I just want to like while people are coming on because I'm seeing this now. Everybody, I guess, yeah, it's Chester. So everybody's like, so, but I just wanted to like just I always wanted to talk to you like this. And I didn't even know, like, I was like, you know what? I've been talking about Chester for a minute. Let me see if I can catch him. And I know you're a busy man, so it was hard to catch you, but it's all good.
Yeah.
But I want to take it all the way back. Since for people that don't know, well, mostly everybody do know actually, because they're like, oh, there go Chester. See, see,
Oh,
see.
where the comments at? Wait, I need to
They
go.
didn't start commenting yet, but they're coming on. One person said something. Okay,
Oh,
two
hey.
people.
Okay.
Okay, well, anyway, we're gonna do this anyway. So I don't know if you guys know, but Chester Gregory. Oh my God, we met during MySpace time.
Woo-wee.
Do you remember that? We talk on MySpace in New York, and that's how we became cool. And I've seen a couple of productions that you've been in. You are ultimately this Broadway celebrity because that's what everybody know you for. Every time you're in something, I think people buy tickets to see you.
I am very grateful for the loyal supporters over the years who have really kept me going, because when you have those moments when you're like, oh, do I need to do this anymore? Does anybody even care? You know what I mean? And
Right,
then it's like, they come to remind you, hey, what's going on? And so
right,
yeah, it's been
right.
quite yeah.
And for musical theater is something that I even was in school, and I went to performing arts high school, and I did musical theater, and I always said Broadway was going to be the last thing I do because I wanted to do records so bad. Like I don't want to keep doing musical theater. I just want to do records, records, records. But then I was like, wait a minute now. Like some of my friends are doing some Broadway musicals, and they're doing pretty well. So because the record thing is different. It's a totally different thing, but for you who like I'm gonna take it back to where we even start. Like I think was Hairspray your first one?
Yeah, yeah.
Let's do
Mhm.
that. Let's go and let's talk about okay, let's do that. Let's go from the top to the let's go down. So let's talk about Hairspray.
Okay, all right. Um, all right. So then we start at the very beginning. Then I just got to go back a little bit further, right? So I got my start in the Chicagoland area at a theater company known as Black Ensemble Theater. I was doing a
Right.
bunch of shows there in the Gutman Theater and Chicago Theater Company and all that stuff. And then when we did a show called The Jackie Wilson Story, that kind of ran for like 3 years off and on. And then went to the Apollo Theater, which led to me being seen by the producers of Hairspray. And then boom, 3 weeks later was my Broadway debut. And so
Why do you have these magical stories that like come on, that doesn't happen like that?
what I have found is everybody's story is so unique.
Yeah.
And so there's those moments that appear that seem to be, just like magical, but it's really just been something you've been secondhandedly preparing for all your life and just didn't really know it. You know what I mean? So like the things that I wanted to incorporate in Hairspray stem from the things that I did as Jackie Wilson, stem from the things that I did growing up in Gary, Indiana, idolizing Michael Jackson and doing all that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? And so I didn't necessarily have cattle calls, but my cattle call was in the basement rehearsing and beating myself up because I thought I wasn't doing it right, or I didn't know what I was doing really. I just knew I was having a good time and okay, so let's go. And then, eventually led on to that. So yeah.
Right. And Hairspray, like, Hairspray eventually took you to Tarzan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And was it a point where you had to like go back and do the whole auditioning thing over, or it was like, okay, well, he did Hairspray, so come on over and do Tarzan, and then you just go and do Tarzan? I mean, how did that work?
At the time, they were it was definitely an audition process, but what was very interesting is that it fell right in time for me to renew my contract with Hairspray for the third time. Mm-hmm. And I loved Hairspray. Hairspray was my Broadway debut. I thought the show was magical. I'd seen the show a year earlier when they were in previews, and just loved the show. And then shortly afterwards, after they won the Tonys, actually the evening they won the Tonys was the next day. That morning after was my audition. But anyway, so upon renewal, then Disney was working on Tarzan, and so I had to audition a bunch of times. But something that kind of worked in that scenario was I've always had a fear of heights, and so when I went for one of my final auditions, they told me that they wanted me to swing and all this other kind of stuff. And so what I did was to kind of take my mind off my fear of heights. I just started singing while I was swinging, just to kind of like, Wow. I've always had dreams. I was like Superman and flying in real, in dreams, but in real life was like, I don't want to be, and so, right. But it was me singing while swinging that actually caught their attention and was like, oh, okay, he's doing that. He can do this. And so, he told me later
really do this.
That I was singing that actually helped, them notice me to feel like I could do that role. Yeah.
Look at you. And then you went to Shrek.
So after Tarzan was Crybaby.
Okay, Crybaby. Okay.
Yeah. Which was that was fun in itself. We did the out of town run, and then we had a very short run. And then with Shrek, I did the Seattle tryout for Shrek as Donkey.
You might need to fix your Wikipedia because that says Shrek was before Crybaby. But anyway.
Well, anybody could write anything on Wikipedia.
Yeah, I know. It's Crybaby. Okay, I think I saw a lot of the stuff that you was in. Oh God, Dreamgirls.
Yeah.
Oh, let me tell you. Let me just tell you. Like, I don't try to be a groupie with people that I know sometimes, but when I saw that, I was just like, like, you were so like magnificent in that role, like all of them really, but you were so magnificent in that. I thought it was dope. I thought that was dope. Sister Act was dope, and the Motown musical thing was dope as well. So all of that, just how do you manage to just be like the same level of dopeness in like every single thing, and they're all different roles?
Man. Well, thank you. Because it certainly doesn't feel that way. You just can only be you and how you want to interpret a character or a role, and and hope that what you're doing and the creative team is coming together to all make something that's magical, or that would make people like remember a time when they look back and saw that show, that there was a time that helped them escape whatever they were going through in their life, or help them just think about something, or just enjoy
right.
Art. Yeah.
Right. I think it gets to be kind of grueling too. Like, a lot of people don't understand musical theater is like, it's a job. It's like a real job. Like, you go and you're there, you got to do the same thing every night. You got to figure out a way to do it differently because you got to get different reaction. Then you have those nights where you have the crowd is not so they're not so reactive to, to kind of help give the energy. So you got to figure out a way to do that. And people don't realize how difficult it is. I know myself, tour with plays and stuff like that. Never did Broadway yet. I did off Broadway. I was at the Beacon Theater. but like I said, that was always my last thing. I said, well, when I stop, I want to do just one Broadway thing or whatever. But I commend you because you've kind of set that pace of consistency. I know you're going on to doing things now because that's what we want to talk about. Like, I want to know from New York and then leaving where you are, and and going to someplace else and creating new things. And I saw you on TV. I see you on TV sometimes. Your music. Let's talk about all of that because I want, like a lot of artists that are out there now, they don't understand how to keep going when things change,
Mm-hmm.
So I think we can help by talking about that a little bit. So what happened after New York?
After New York, I toured a little bit with Sister Act, and then I toured with Motown, and then we came back to New York, and then had a nice little short run with that. Strong 18 performances on Broadway. And then it was like, okay, what do you do now? And so I wanted to go back. I wanted to actually move to LA and just do something that was completely different from New York. And when I came out to LA, I started to do, just more, actually more out of town plays. I did 2 August Wilson plays, Fences and 2 Trains Running. So what I've been wanting to do over the years, though, was just to really share my own story. And so way back before Childish Gambino and Donald Glover really released the duality, I was telling people that I wanted to release music under the name Chess. And they were like, what? Why? Like, don't you want to, I play your music all the time. And I'm like, thank you. What do you listen to? They're like, I listen to Tarzan and Hairspray. And I'm like, right. That ain't my music though, but that's all. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to have something that really reflected the type of music that I want to share, my story and all of that stuff. So fortunately, when Childish Gambino, really released his music, and then, had the duality happening at the same time, it gave me a point of reference to let people know what I was talking about. But I wanted to do it I've been wanting to do this for like 8 years. So anyway, while doing that, there was also a question running through my mind of, is what I do, is it only valid behind the veil of being someone else? Am I only valid when I'm, portraying, Barry Gordy or Jackie Wilson or even a made up character or whatever? And so I struggle with that. I struggle with a great deal of self-doubt, wondering if anybody would really, really care about what I had to say, and all that stuff is just ego. And so in the last year, it's really been, my journey about letting go of that ego, letting go of that fear, letting go of that self-doubt, and just sharing what I have to say and not worrying about it being compared to any of the people that I portray. Yeah.
Wow. So you had an aha moment in music. Like, that is so dope. And you go through that. Like, you really go through. People don't understand, like, it's difficult. I remember one time I was going through something and I reached out to you and you gave me all these wonderful, wonderful remedies and things. I appreciate that because that helps. We have to help each other as artists. And I noticed, like, I see sometimes, you have friends in the industry. I have friends, and some of those people are crossing to the same people. So that's what, shout out to Trina Broussard.
Oh, dope. Come on, Birch.
Yeah, I got to shout out Trina. That's one of my dearest sisters and everything. So, but yeah, I like the camaraderie. I like when I do get to see you, how humble you remain. And I mean, you're awesome. So, I mean, how do you feel about artists when a lot of people feel like there's a lot of competition and stuff like that? But my circle, we don't do that. Well, we try not to. But how do you feel about artists supporting artists as opposed to just looking for support from just people who like music and stuff? How do you feel about artists doing that with each other?
I I think it's essential. And so my friends who are artists and even artists that I don't know, I go hard for. So I'm always letting them know how much I appreciate their art and sharing their stuff, whether I know them personally or not. So I think it's very essential. And it's very interesting. Like you'll see artists talk about, this whole thing where they want a following or they want fans or whatever it is, or they want to know that what they're doing is relevant to somebody.
Right.
And on the same token, you see people saying, well, I enjoy what you do, but I'm not a fan.
Right.
And I'm like, no, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of art. I'm a fan of music. I'm a fan of acting. I'm a fan of it. And I'll let you know. And I have no shame in it. So I give the amount of energy that I hope to receive, as
right.
that same energy, you know what I mean? So I'm posting about, because I just like released merch for the first time, with the crescent moon, which is my logo for the project.
I love that. I love that.
But before that, for years, what I've done was gradually change over my wardrobe. So like 80% of my wardrobe is all Black owned stuff, all Black owned merch. So it's like different things from Blairisms, from Melvin, Elon, from me, like a whole bunch of stuff, right? And so I released my merch just kind of like on a whim, just like, okay, I'm ready to get this going. And then it sold out in the first day, like within the first 48 hours, it sold out of like 3 sizes. And I did not expect that at all. I was just, ready to get it out there. But maybe because I just supported people so heavily, people didn't mind supporting me right back. So that's what I think it's about. Like the same energy you want to receive, you got to give.
You got to give. And you are really good at that. Like you believe it or not, like you really, and I even know artists that know you that say that same thing. I know firsthand that you're like that. You've always supported me even. And the whole, sure. And I remember when you had the app, the game, or like the one that the words.
Yeah, Unword, yeah.
Unword, yeah, that's you. And I play that thing so much. And I still, you know what I'm saying? I just love supporting the fact that you do. I love that. So keep doing that.
Shout out to Ryan Glenn who spearheaded that. He was the creator, and I came aboard, and we shared ideas for creating that, and a couple of days ago. So Team Virgo, right?
Yeah, Team Virgo. Taylor Emin Carter just said that's dope. So I don't, maybe you know.
Taylor mine. What up, Taylor?
Yeah. So I said, what up? Gloria Lee Richardson said hello. So everybody saying hi to you. But that being said, since you brought in the Gabrielle Whiting, loving the
yes.
Yeah.
Love I'm seeing they weren't popping up before. I can see them now. Yeah.
Yeah. See, that's what I'm saying. Like, okay. So with that being said, since we're gonna skip because you brought in supporting with everything that's going on in the world right now, with race stuff and police stuff and just everything. Like no one knows what to do, what to think, how to think, where to think. No one knows what's next. How do you deal with all of that, especially us being us? How do you deal with that? What do you even think about that? And do you even think the young generation get it?
Ooh, okay. Hit me with all the questions. I think it's important for us to have conversations with each other. And I was even talking to several artist friends of mine because, with all the change that's happened in the world and all the injustice and people fighting against racism and stuff like that, a lot of people sort of felt that the art that they were working on, because it wasn't a protest song or because it wasn't a conscious song, that it didn't have a voice. And so I've talked to several artist friends of mine, and I was like, no. Get that out. Release that. You don't have to make a conscious song right now. You have to be, it's your responsibility to be aware and to be active. But if you want to create a love song still, go ahead, because people still got to love each other in this. People still kissing. People still, release that art. People let it be, what it's meant to be, and don't stifle yourself and feel like you have to do what everybody else is doing. If not, now's the time, because now people have limited resources. So now it's like, okay, well, I got this love song I want to release anyway, and so you do it, And so I think it's important for us to, I was actually talking to another friend about this. It's important for us to have the conversation to not only talk with people that we agree with, but to also talk about, talk with people that we don't necessarily see eye to eye, because that's an opportunity to possibly learn something, right? So when you speak, you're only sharing what you know, but if you listen, that's an opportunity to really learn something. And so that's what I think part of it, what it's about. Unless they're a racist bigot, then they can go to hell. But other than that, yeah.
You so
Like,
crazy.
now's not the time to be like, well, what is racism? No. You got Google for that. But like, if somebody actually trying to have like a dialogue, like have several friends that keep me in check. While I talk to them about, and we sometimes agree, sometimes we disagree and debate, and I'm always listening to learn and to become better, And I think a part of this is just because we as a human race are evolving in our consciousness, and so because that's happening, things have to crumble.
Things have to crumble.
The things that you want to achieve out here, you got to start here first, because everything else is just going to reflect that.
Preach! Look at you.
Oh,
no, because I think there's a new church that needs to happen, especially talking about consciousness, because no one really talks about it. No one get it. The ones that don't get it, they're gonna be left. And I love it when artists talk about it, because it comes from a whole nother deeper place, So I love that. I mean, it's rough when you look at, okay, Black Lives Matter. Technically, all lives matter. I get it. I get why they, why we feel like Black Lives Matter. Just everybody matters, period. So if we all just really, really think about that, not that I love the fact that we're out there hustling for it, but I wish everybody just get it. You know what I'm saying? I need everybody to get it, y'all. And with artists, the songs, what happened to the songs like What's Going On and songs like that? I mean, we need that stuff. So, which is a segue into what I'm about to ask you next.
Okay.
No, I love your music. I follow your music. I get your music, all of that. You have some stuff that you're working on or that you recently released. Tell us about that, because I just saw a video though that I hadn't seen, and I'm mad because I usually keep up with you and I missed that one. The one about I think you was in a bar. You was the bartender and you was cleaning up.
Aftervention. Yeah.
That's what it is. Yes.
All
yes.
Right. So I'll map you through the whole chess journey. Okay. All right. So I'll just map you through the whole thing. So that what you're talking about is a song called Aftervention. And so the upcoming project is called Retrograde. And the project is about the dissolve of relationships. And so the purpose of the moon, so I use a crescent moon all the time for like all of my artwork and stuff. And so it's even on the merch and stuff that I have, right? And so the purpose of that, what that represents is the reflective period. When you're looking back on yourself to say, okay, what didn't work? What is this? And then, right, because the moon doesn't have its own light. The moon only reflects light from the sun. So when you look back at yourself, you can then address that healing that needs to be addressed, and then move forward in a way that's much more progressive. So Aftervention was originally supposed to be the first single, and we shot that video with Ozzy Scott and a super talented cast and everything. But then we agreed to make that the second single. So it was Aftervention and then Throw It Back. So Aftervention, after looking back, right? After, and then Throw It Back, Throwback is in parentheses. All the songs have parentheses in them because parentheses are still hints towards the moon that's happening. I can do this for days. Anyway,
I thought I was the only one that did stuff like that. Wait. Taylor said not everyone is being targeted in the world of Prince. Like books and albums, Black Lives still matter. Oh yeah, definitely. Black Lives matter. I totally understand the whole thing about it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And then the third single was the Doppler effect. And so the Doppler effect, it's me in parentheses. The Doppler effect, something again that has the relation to do with the past, right? So the Doppler effect only happens when one object passes the next, and then the perspective changes as you look back. So that's that. And then
I'm gonna be calling you to talk about stuff. I'm so into this stuff. You got chills right now because I love talking about that. People think I'm crazy. So y'all can think chess is crazy now. So go
Right.
ahead. Yeah. Charles
And then
Sims
the
said,
fourth single, which is the song I actually started working on years ago with Teron Brooks and Steve Wallace. It's called National Anthem, another one. So that's National Anthem and then another one in parentheses. So it's a take on National Anthem, obviously the National Anthem, but it's also saying that this is our anthem, saying there's another one and there's something that needs to be done about this. So it's like a kind of a jab at the national anthem, a jab at our nation state. All of those things is what that represents. And so that's the latest single now. And so Chess as an acronym is where my new music is now.
Chess as an acronym. I love that. Look at you causing problems. You're not a real artist until you cause a little controversy, or hopefully at least it'll make an indention where people can start paying attention, because you got to have a purpose. It's no reason if you're not going to do music and you don't have a message, a purpose, or something behind it. So
Nina Simone says an artist's responsibility is to reflect the times. An artist's duty is to reflect the times. I think is what she said. Yeah.
That is so dope. That is so dope. How do you stay connected? Like, what are the things that you do to keep you just in tuned in, tapped in, turned on to your purpose?
There's a few things. One thing I really, really, really recommend is having a morning ritual, having a ritual that you will not compromise, that you do before you check any social media that you like, because it's, you turn on your notifications, look at your notifications, and you could see, a storm of stuff, of highlight reels, of complaints, of all kinds of stuff. And it can really consume you, right? There's a film that just came out called The Social Dilemma, right? And so drugs and computers are the only two things that refer to the people that use them as users. And so it's like, no, you can't let, what did Prince say? Don't let the computer use you.
Right.
And so, what I do to stay connected is just continue to actually just in every situation I try to ask myself this question, what is the lesson? And so whether I don't think something is good or bad, like what is the lesson? What's something I can take from this moment? And then just kind of release it and say, I'm expecting the best possible outcome. That's one thing. I've been doing meditation and journaling and stuff like that. And then also I surround myself with friends that hold me accountable. I don't surround myself with yes people. My friends are jerks. So they tell me, when I'm right, they tell me when I'm wrong, they tell me when I'm full of it, whatever, and all of that stuff. So that when I do, reach a place where it's like, no, I dig that, I rock with that, then it's earned. And these are people that, that really have, so surround yourself with people that really have your best interest at heart and will check you, tell you when you're wrong, and really support you and want you to do well.
That's important. Yeah, I hope you artists out there hear that, because what we do here at Heat Seekers, we talk to a lot of artists. We do artist development. We try to keep them up. Sometimes they need to hear from people like yourself and us that out there hustling and really making this thing work. Because I know it's. What would you think most biggest challenges was when it comes to decision making in this business? Or if you had something in front of you that you had to make a choice that changed your whole life, or you had something that if you go this way, it just kind of changed something, but you had to go through with it. Is there something that you can remember? Because I get that all the time with artists. They always go, they come to these dilemmas that they have to, make a drastic change in something, and they think it's heartbreaking, but in the end, it turns out okay.
Mm-hmm.
So do you have one that you can think of, or?
I mean, really, it was one big thing that comes to mind is me deciding to actually release the music. So I have been working on the music that I released starting last year, but I had already been working on it for like 4 or 5 years. And it was just that constant battle. Like the people that have worked with me, my team can tell you, they thought I was never going to release any music because I was constantly struggling with, is anybody going to care? And so I had to really release that. And so I think when you have an important decision to make, of course you list the pros and cons, and you really think about like your deeper connection. So this also reminds me to a point in my life last year when I had one of the most trying times of my entire life. And that was when I lost my voice.
That's it.
Performing as a, you know, as a artist full time now for almost 20 years now, solely by my voice, acting, singing, whatever. But last year I went out to lunch and my voice just went while I was talking. And I went to the doctor, all this other kind of stuff, and nobody could kind of say what was wrong with my voice. They said I had a polyp. They don't know how it got there, and it didn't look like it was healing. So 2 months rolled by, and I was like, I need to, you know, kind of figure out what I'm going to do with my life. And so I learned about like healing and frequencies and stuff like that, and then did some like really internal work, and then my voice came back 4 days later. But the biggest lesson I learned from that was to connect with a deeper sense of purpose than what you do. So if my purpose is only because I sing, or I'm a mathematician, or I'm a scientist, then what happens if I can't practice that thing? So I think one question people have been faced a lot in 2020 is like, okay, you're not able to practice what you do. So then who are you? And I think being connected to that deepest purpose of who you are really helps you go past those times when you may or may not be able to practice what you do. So if my purpose is by being a mathematician is to express love or is to inspire, then I can do that. And math was that outlet, or singing was that outlet to do so. But if I'm not able to do that because I have a deeper sense of purpose, I could find another way to then live in that purpose and then share that with the world.
You know what? You just got me, because that's why I reached out to you. Like, you know, what a lot of people don't know, like, you know, even for me, and thank you for saying that, because even for me, like singing all the time and hitting these ridiculously high notes that everybody think that I'm gonna be able to do for the rest of my life, and that's not the case. And I had something very similar where I went through a very challenging time where I could not do what I felt like I do that makes me unique. Like I couldn't do it. And I was going through that. I lost confidence, everything. People was, when you coming out with the music? When you coming out with this? Well, I'm going through something, but I'm not telling anybody. And I'm trying to figure it out. And people don't know that. And this the first time I'm saying this. And I thought, if I can't do this, I can't do anything. Like I had to really research and find out, what is my purpose? What is deeper than me just hitting a Shaka Khan note? You know what I'm saying? So I had to do all these things and try to really, really figure it out. And I started developing a greater sense of purpose for myself. I'm so glad you said that, because that just confirmed, because I was still worried about it. So thank you.
Wow.
You know, people don't realize that. They see us do something, they just think we're supposed to, you know, do it all the time, or as easy as this. It's a lot, especially singing the way you sing. What I've seen, I don't even know how you did it every night. You know, me too. It's like, it's hard, and it weighs on your mental. And I really thought I was done. And when I reached out to you, you sent me this long list, and you told me some things to do, and I appreciate that, because it got me kickstarted again. So.
Wow, I had no idea. I'm glad I was able to offer something useful. You know, you cast and show me, and they kind of call me like the alchemist, because I always got like, I always know like certain remedies and stuff like that that'll help out. You know, if you have whatever issues that you have on the road or whatever. So yeah.
Some things too, like people don't know about you. Like, you're a father. How did you manage to be a father with all that busy work that you were doing?
Man, I could only say it was largely due to my son's mother. It wasn't you know, just having been you know, because we got married, I had a baby, the career happened, all that other kind of stuff, and then it shifted, and I had to move to New York when I booked Hairspray, and and my son was with, you know, with his mother, and so and then they came out to New York like the next year or so, and then afterwards, like, she booked Lion King, and then so we kind of like been like dancing back and forth, and so I'm very appreciative and grateful to have of my son's mother, Kimberly Hebert. And
I know Kimberly.
yeah, you know, like she has been a wonderful partner with co-parenting, you know, our son. And so it's been great. You know, there's been times when, you know, I've taken more of the lead financially, and then because we're both artists, then there's times when I was in the interim, you know what I mean, and she's taking more of the lead financially. But we both sold into our son, Chester Gregory III, and he makes me so happy and so proud. I could not have prayed for a better child. He makes me so proud, and he's like, he wears his heart on his sleeve, and I learned so much about patience. I learned so much about acceptance. He's on the spectrum. He's on the autistic spectrum, but he's very hard thing. And so I just learned so much from him every time I see him, every time I'm around him. So, yeah.
You know, they say that children are the solutions of our problems. So when you have children, you're getting a solution to your own problems. I noticed that he's definitely your mini-me. Definitely, like, I can mistake you for him anytime. I mean, it's crazy. I can mistake him for you. And I said, wow, that's awesome to have an image, you know what I'm saying, of yourself. I think that's dope. Is he into music at all?
No, he's more into visual art.
Visual art
and animation and stuff like that.
That's dope. That's really, really dope. Yeah. So out there in LA, how is it? When are you gonna be acting? I'm waiting to see you on the big screen. I just want to know, like, what's coming up for you.
I'm auditioning and stuff. And you know, we'll see. I sent in an audition early this morning. You know, that's the grind. You know what I mean? And so I'm working to do more television and film. But as I'm auditioning, I'm also working on producing my own projects and projects where I can also hire people. And so that's what I'm in the process now. I have a lot of friends that are pitching and working on TV shows and stuff like that. And so I've been learning more about, you know, both sides of the table, as an artist, as creative, and then also as a producer. So, yeah,
that's you know, I've been begging Chester for years, y'all. I just wanted to sing background for him one time, just one time, and I never got the opportunity, but it's all good. I love supporting.
When this thing open back up and we come back to Atlanta, it's gonna happen. We'll make it happen.
Got to. Speaking of, I'm so glad you said that. I want to talk about Jackie Wilson's the one-man show that you have been doing. And I had the opportunity to see, and I was floored. I couldn't even leave. I fell on the floor. Nobody knew where I was. You just made me fall out and die. It was that good. Like, I was done. And you know, Kevin said it. So it was that good. But how did you? And I met some of the family because you had them come, and I mean, that was the most awesome thing. Like, what even inspired you about it? Was it because it was your first thing, or how did you get into Jackie Wilson? I mean, tell me about that, because I always wanted to know about that.
Okay, so the Jackie Wilson story was produced by the Black Ensemble Theater, written and directed by Jackie Taylor, and they gave me my start. Even though I'd already worked in a lot of shows prior to that, that show was the show that really propelled my career. And so when I started doing Broadway shows, I kept getting emails from people asking me, you know, when, you know, I was going to, you know, reprise the role of Jackie Wilson in the Jackie Wilson story. They brought the show back. I think it was around 2012 or something like that. And I could not do the show because I was under contract with Sister Act. And so after planning and wanting to be a part of the Black Ensemble relaunch in this larger space and opening with the Jackie Wilson story returning, I couldn't do it. And so a year later, Sister Act closed, and I'm still getting these messages. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to put together a Jackie Wilson concert, because at that time I was trying to figure out rent, because, you know, almost a year off of Broadway, paying that rent in New York. It's like, okay, all right, we got to figure something out. And initially started out as an idea of just putting together like a concert. But then I remembered how Jackie Wilson passed away. He passed away on stage, and I thought, oh, well, he collapsed on stage and then he went into a vegetative state. But I thought it might be interesting if it's kind of like his last performance kind of thing. And so that's when I assembled the show called The Eve of Jackie.
The Eve of Jackie.
His entire life. It just look at him sort of at the end of his career when he's trying to do a relaunch, and he sort of like has all of these ideas and stuff about the business. And so you see these happy songs that are, you know, the audience is loving all of this stuff. And then, but for him, it's kind of triggering because he knows the darker side of the business, the shady business, and all the other kind of stuff that's happening in the music industry. So that's what kind of, sparked that idea. And then so I've just been doing spot dates with that here and there.
But you became him. Like, it was so weird to sit there. Like, I literally felt like I wasn't looking at Chester anymore. I was looking at Jackie. It was it was weird. It was you embodied it, like totally embodied it. And then you made it interactive. Like, it felt like I was back in the day at a Jackie Wilson concert. Like, you have that amazing gift to do that.
Thank you.
That's something that I try to teach other artists, to find that thing, tap into it, and do it, because you exuded him, and I think you did a great job. And if it was up to me, you would have won a Grammy, an Emmy, an Oscar, and everything for that. So I think you should. I think you really should push that. I don't think it should never die. Like, you have to do that until you're not here anymore. You might not be able to do that split, but you know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, hopefully it'll make its way to make a transition to be on film or something like that. Yeah.
You know what? That's a hint. I'm gonna take that. That might work.
Right.
Hey, let's. We might need to talk about that. So I'm trying to think now. So you got music out, right now, and you're auditioning and stuff. So you're working on some film stuff. That's great. Let everybody know how to reach you and find you, and because I want everybody to witness what I witnessed. So let them know all the places that they can go, please.
Hey, everybody. My name is Chester Gregory, also known as Chess. I'm on all social media platforms with the handle @Chester Gregory. So you just put in Chester Gregory and that'll take you to everything social media wise. For my music, it's Chess as an acronym, C.H.E.S.S. So not just Chess by itself, that takes you to a whole bunch of other people. That's why I did it as an acronym. So it's like separate. So that'll take you to the 4 songs that I released and all the other kind of stuff. So please add me on all of that stuff. Chess as an acronym stands for Collectively Healing Every Single Soul.
Ooh. See some. Oh, shout out to Omar. He said, "Cool. I have to check Chester out." See, that's Omar. What I'm saying. Yeah. And somebody called me Kevin Kahn. Oh God, people don't know how hard that stuff is, and we try to live up to that. Like, if I can't hit a high note, I'm just not doing the show. Like, it's crazy. But yeah, shout out to everybody that's out here looking at Chess. And I just want to say thank you too, because talking to you is like a healing. So I just want everybody to get to witness you as an artist and see what you have to say and bring to this industry, because we need that. But before we even close out, I want to ask you, like, what would you say to younger Chess?
What would I say to younger Chess? What would I say to younger Chess? God, dog it. Okay. I would say, don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid.
It's going to be okay.
And see, that's a good one. And while you are younger Chess, being afraid, you don't know that you're going to say it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
And that's what's a good thing is about it. Other artists out there, I guess that's the same thing. You can say that to them too. Don't be afraid.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid. Yeah.
Like, fear to a certain extent is good, because our emotions kind of can give us our moral compass.
Mm-hmm.
So feelings are good. Fear, some sort of fear is good, but just don't let it control you. It's just energy. So take the energy and channel it. And this is what has really been helpful in these times now, right? So I've asked myself, after being, the many ups and downs, peaks and valleys of life and our careers and my career, I asked myself, okay, how many times has God left me out there? I couldn't think of a time. It was all just a test of faith. And so now I'm like, okay, all right, now I got this lesson. Okay, I ain't got rent. Okay. Oh, well, we got a 6-month extension on rent. Better than last year. So it's like, just think of the times, when you have felt that way or felt similar or if you haven't, but still just think of like times when you didn't know how things were going to work out, and somehow they did. They always do, right? And so hopefully this will be comforting for somebody, as we're all facing some sort of trauma right now. So
that's true. Everybody is. Chester, you have to make sure that you stay connected to me. You stay in
Sure.
touch, and I definitely would love to have you on some future things that's coming up. And I think your message is very, very needed. And and someone, don't be afraid of the fear of rejection. Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. See, a lot of people don't know that you got that little preacher in you. So we're gonna make sure that you always send those messages. But for the most part, I want to thank you for being
Don't
able
be
to.
afraid of the fear of rejection. Wait, no, that's right. Because when you're afraid of the fear of rejection, you're already facing rejection. You're rejecting yourself.
Exactly.
All right, I'm gonna shut up. But yes,
No.
thank you.
Let
I'm
me
done.
just tell you. No, let me just tell you. I wrote a song called "The Fear of Rejection" a while ago, and you're absolutely right. You're about to make me pull it back up because what you're saying is correct. I was saying it from a whole different perspective, but what you're saying is actually correct. So thank you again. Thank you again.
Have me, man.
So, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank everybody who joined us today on Heat Seekers New Music Day Live. We come at you usually Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, but we kind of work around artist schedules. But thanks, and I hope everyone had a great time. And don't forget to go out and support Chess. Can we just call you Chess? Okay.
Yeah, please call me Chess. Yes.
Please call you Chess. And we're looking forward to seeing things coming from you. So make sure you do that. Anything else you want to say to everyone before you go?
That's it. Love, everybody. Love.
Love everybody. Thank you. I'm Kevin Bryant. Shout out to all the Heat Seekers, Lady J, DJ Red, Jay Morris, Brianna Brachet, In the House Media. Thank y'all. And we'll talk to y'all later. And we out. Thank you, Chad.